In summer of last year, I came across an appeal of the case that prior effort was connected to. I read through the information that was available on the site at that time concerning what was being pursued as an appeal. The problem is that there had been a website that had been developed that had information on it that was supposed to support the case. It was not disclosed to me at the time that that was potentially being used as some sort of proxy legal training, or that it may personally or may have directly been connected to any sort of efforts to engage in continuing legal education events. That was not disclosed at the time. I have reason to believe that that is actually what is being done with it, and that is why the items on it changed the way they do. Okay, but the point was that on that site at the time, I was contracted to do this public relations piece, is how I understand it at the end of the day, by virtue of being dispossessed of any other political capital contributions to the efforts that have resulted, and in a void of having any access to due process for myself. I understand that I was requested to provide a public relations piece for the case, and that there was an attempt to misrepresent it as an act of journalism, which was disproved when it was later engaged in a financialization scheme, as opposed to being used to bring awareness to the issues that were put into the original request for consideration of services and what I would be able to provide. When I found this appeal on the site was another version of the transcript from the original proceeding that was different and had been altered from the one I reviewed during the time I was working on that project. See, I read everything in the transcript. I read the entire transcript. I even read some of the things that were made available as public comments on certain sites, including comments that were provided by people allegedly mentioned as attorneys or as judges. And I will just say, based upon what I saw, that was put forth by people that were allegedly actually licensed to practice law and or had even been appointed or elected to positions of judge in the state of Texas. There is nothing I have said or done in anything while this exploitation has been ongoing that would be considered any more or less a disciplinary infraction than what they did. And this was a concern I had at the time, how it was that they were allowed to publicly excoriate her in a manner that actually lacked legal backing, but that was more about, I understood, a effort to recharacterize her as a legal professional and cast aspersions on her capacity to perform her duties as a judge. Now, if you're concerned that that might be slander, and or it might violate the Constitution of the state of Texas. I was at the time as well. But those were not the considerations, right? That's how you're supposed to understand it. There's certain things you focus on. Well, this is what you focus on. Well, what I focused on was the transcript and things that were actually said and actually done in the courtroom. And the transcript that was available on the website in the summer of 2019 was materially different than the one that was available in 2016. Now, I have my own notes. See, if you had taken it seriously instead of trying to lump me in a complete mischaracterization of what I had done when I submitted my motion, then I would have been able to present the argument. I would have been able to write it up if necessary, or I could have presented an oral argument. I got all I need, right? But we've been over a year, and you've allowed that to stand as somehow being, I don't know, what? I believe that that case, and the transcript on that case, and the illegal activities that were engaged by alleged members of the State Bar of Texas actually provided the material foundations or the material preconditions necessary to finance COVID-19. Period. What are you going to do now?